Hi everyone, my name is Danielle Graber and I'm the Director and a Clinical Psychologist here at 12 Point Psychology. I wanted to create this little introduction and overview to a new program that I'm really excited to be sharing with you. It's called Therapy Bites, Comfort Food for a Healthy Mind. And it's all about giving you the tools and techniques and strategies that you might learn in sessions one-on-one with a therapist, but that you can make use of yourself at any time in any way that you like, whether you're already seeing a clinician or whether you're one of the many people who is stuck on a wait list waiting to see someone thanks to the pandemic that shall not be named and the incredible demand that we're seeing for mental health services at the moment. So this program was designed to be not a substitute for therapy, and it's certainly not therapy. It's therapeutic information. It's information to help you make positive changes, to create positive changes in mood, anxiety levels, or stress, and help you to manage those things a little more effectively and hopefully a little more healthily, if that's a word. This is very much the style of the videos that are presented in the program. So if this is not your cup of tea, the program is probably not going to be for you. The idea is that I present different topics each week. The videos last between 10 and 20 minutes. You can stop and start as often as you like. There are worksheets, there are downloads, there are links to other resources. But the idea really is that you've got a pocket therapeutic encyclopedia. If you struggle with negative thoughts, you can go to module 2 and look at some different ways of dealing with that. If you'd like to learn more about mindfulness and what it's all about, you can go to module 6 and really get to know that stuff and have something in your pocket that can help you practice these skills, which is really the most important part. So I thought I'll take you through the program and what we have on offer. It's designed to go for 8 weeks with a new module being sent out to you via an app every week so that you don't get overwhelmed by getting everything all at once. And what we'll see, if this will work, here we go, is in module 1 is very much an introduction to the program, what it is, what it isn't, how it works, how to get the most out of it. And in this one, there's blog posts, there's videos, there's book recommendations, all sorts of things to kind of get you up and running. And we talk a little bit about why therapists always talk about breathing, because we really like it, but because it's so effective as a way of regulating our physical responses to trauma, to stress, to anxiety, to mood. And I explain why that's the case and how you can make that work for you. I know you can breathe, I promise I do, but this is more about how you can change your breathing to change the way that you're feeling and responding to things. Then module 2, we get into some basic cognitive behavioral work, and this is looking at the relationship between thoughts, feelings, and behaviors and making that work for you. We'll learn a little bit about the flight and fight system and what that has to do with stress and anxiety. We'll learn a little bit about behavioral activation as a way of countering low mood, and we'll look at the difference between helpful and unhelpful stress and anxiety and why it is that we have these feelings in the first place. Module 3 is really diving down into that in a little bit more depth. So we look at cycles and spirals. We look at why once that negative thought gets into your head, it's really hard to get rid of it, and why it can have such a profound impact on how we're feeling. We look at the importance of being able to identify the emotion in the moment and what happens if we don't do that. A lot of us, particularly at the moment, are in survival mode, which means we're trying to just get on with it, which is great up to a certain point. Eventually, we need to be able to stop and go, okay, what am I actually feeling at the moment? And what is that emotion telling me that I might need? We'll also spend a little bit of time learning some distress tolerance skills. So If, for example, you're locked down again, that's an uncomfortable feeling. That's nobody, I think, is happy about this. Well, there might be a few people who are happy about this, but for the vast majority of people, this is not a good feeling. There's nothing you can do about it. So it becomes, how do I sit with that distress without losing my mind, without screaming at the kids, without taking it out on my partner, that type of thing. So learning to sit and tolerate that distress is a really important skill, and one that we'll be covering in a fair bit of depth in these modules. Module 4, I present with you with a flowchart called Options for Solving Any Problem. And I promise, I've been using this for, I think, 10 years now. No one has been able to present me with a problem that they can't fix using this, or that they can't address using this flowchart. So you will get to see my, till this point anyway, foolproof flowchart and put it to the test. We also talk about comfort zones and regulation zones, and how to find where you're operating at your best capacity and to stay in that zone. And what does that look like for you? What things help you stay in that zone? What things knock you out of that zone? How to stay in that sort of, alert but not alarmed state. Module 5, I introduce you to a concept called the base. And the base is all about helping you find balance to the things that matter to you. So helping you find a balance to looking after your body, to having social connections, to doing things that you enjoy, and what a difference that can make to your mood, your anxiety, or your stress levels if this stuff is in balance. If it's out of balance, you're going to feel it and you're not going to feel great about it. So this is a really, really nice module, and really simple concept that anybody can apply and start using straight away. Module 6 is one of my favorites. It's all about mindfulness. Everyone is talking about mindfulness now, and have been for a while, which is good. I'm all about destigmatizing and demystifying psychology, but mindfulness is not just a checkbox. Mindfulness is not something that you can sit down and go, okay, I meditated today, I'm done. Mindfulness is more about an attitude and an approach. And the meditations are fantastic, don't get me wrong, but it's not all there is to it. And I think it's really important to spend a bit of time on that, which is why all of Module 6 is about mindfulness, how it works, and what parts of mindfulness it is that actually do work. If you are not someone who can meditate, that's cool. I am not going to ask you to sit down in the lotus pose and clear your mind. I couldn't do that, so I would not ask you to do that. But I am going to just show you some of the evidence that suggests that there are aspects of mindfulness we can bring into our everyday life very simply, very easily, that can have really, really positive impacts on our mental and physical health. So that's, yes, Module 6 is one of my favorites. Module 7, we look at your how and your why. So most people have an idea in their head of what they want to change, and what that change might look like. But we often don't spend a lot of time thinking about why we want to make that change. And any kind of change is hard. Any sort of change is really difficult. If you don't believe me, try brushing your teeth with your wrong hand tonight. Try tying your shoelaces. If you do rabbit ears, do it the other way around. Try making just a really small, simple physical change. If you're about to stop this video, use your non-dominant hand instead of your right hand or left hand, whichever your dominant hand is. Use the opposite hand, and just see how making a little change is difficult. If we're talking about people who might be struggling with mood or anxiety or stress, there's often some big changes that do have to happen. Simple changes, but big changes, because it's changing habits, and changing habits is always tricky. working on this, everything in Module 7 is about what's going to make that change worthwhile, what's going to make the effort that you need to put in worthwhile, and how can we be a bit kinder to ourselves while we're trying to make these changes. Because it's way too easy to start making some changes, fall off the wagon, so to speak, go back onto that old pathway, that old habit, and then beat ourselves up for doing it. So we're going to talk about, in Module 7, we talk about why that's not terribly effective, and what are some other ways we can think about it and work on that. Module 8 is the summary one, and this is where we sort of bring it all together. And you end up with a personalized program of your whys, your hows, your whats, that you can go off and keep learning and building on. And the nice thing is you get access to these modules for a full year. So you do get access to an online support person or a support worker who can help you out via email. If you have any particular questions about a module or you're having difficulty accessing a part, but you only get access to them for the 8 weeks of the program. Outside of that, though, you've got access to all the videos, all the worksheets, the app, everything for a year afterwards. So you can really take your time and practice and get good at this. You can fall back onto old habits for a while and then go, oh, I was feeling better when I was paying attention to that base stuff. So I'm going to go back and rewatch that video and try and get back on track. And this module, Module 8, is all around what that would look like and how do we put things in place to try and keep you coming back onto that new path, even when you do fall off onto the old one, because everybody does it. So those are the 8 modules. They can be used by people who are already seeing a therapist, either here at 12 Points or somewhere else. And this would just be a little bit of an adjunct, an add-on to the stuff that you're doing with your therapist. You are welcome to take this into session and show your therapist what you're doing. This is what I share with my clients when I'm starting up sessions. This is the type of work that I will do to sort of give them some techniques and strategies to work on their own, because I know, we've got an hour. If you're seeing a therapist, you've got an hour once a week, once a fortnight, maybe once a month, and there's a lot of stuff to talk about. This is things that all of my clients have found helpful. These are all techniques and strategies that the research tells us can help if you do them. So the program is designed to help you do them, to help you get the most out of it. At the end of each module, you'll have a little takeaway session. And this is our little dog Winston in what is now an infamous pose. And the idea is, what are you going to take away from each module? That's something you can talk about with the support worker, and think about, how am I going to make the most out of this program? The good thing is you can work through at your own pace. So you can, all of the information for Module 1 will arrive the first day of week 1. You can work through that and watch that all in one day, or you can spread it out over the week. That's fine. First day of week 2, all of the info from Module 2 will arrive. Again, you might still hang on to and still be working through week 1. That's fine. It's just paced out that way so you can get the most out of practicing as you go and getting a chance for some of these skills to sink in. So that's our introduction and overview to Therapy Bites. I'll put up some information at the end of this video about how to access this service, and I hope you find it useful. I hope you take advantage. Thanks. Bye.